עינינו מדמעות, ופינו כבר נותר אילם בלי קול. מה עוד נבקש אמור, מה עוד כמעט ביקשנו לנו את הכל. את הגשם תן רק בעיתו, ובאביב פזר לנו פרחים, ותן שיחזור שוב לביתו, יותר מזה אנחנו לא צריכים. כבר כאבנו 1000 צלקות, עמוק בפנים הסתרנו הנחה. כבר יבשו עינינו מלבכות, אמור שכבר עמדנו במבחן. את הגשם תן רק בעיתו, ובאביב פזר לנו פרחים, ותן לה להיות שנית איתו, יותר מזה אנחנו לא צריכים. כבר כיסינו תל ועוד אחד, טמנו את ליבנו בין ברושים. יותר מזה אנחנו לא צריכים.
שותה עוד כוס קפה, ואל מולי כך את יושבת, ואיך זה מבפנים עולה, מוכרח לדעת מה את חושבת, איך זה בלילות הרבה נופלים לריק שמי הפחד. נגמר לנו היום? למה את מסתתרת? עננים בכל מקום. אל תבכי כמו הגשם, לא חבל על הדמעות. יד חמה מבקשת לחבק אותך שעות. אשים שירים שאת אוהבת, אתן לך יום להירגע. אני נגנב כשאת צוחקת ככה אליי. תגידי מה את מבקשת, שלא יהיה לי שום תירוץ. כשאין מילים את מתרגשת ככה אליי. תחייכי, זה יפה לך, זה עושה לי את היום. אם פתאום את נרדמת, תחייכי גם בחלום. מטוסים בשמיים, אנשים על רכבות. אל תבכי קרן שמש, זה הזמן שלך לחיות. אשים שירים שאת אוהבת, אתן לך יום להירגע. אני נגנב כשאת צוחקת ככה אליי. תגידי מה את מבקשת, שלא יהיה לי שום תירוץ. כשאין מילים את מתרגשת ככה אליי. אל תבכי קרן שמש, קחי לך בית אחרון. איך תמיד את אומרת, ניפגש עם אור ראשון. אשים שירים שאת אוהבת, אתן לך יום להירגע. אני נגנב כשאת צוחקת ככה אליי. תגידי מה את מבקשת, שלא יהיה לי שום תירוץ. כשאין מילים את מתרגשת ככה אליי.
תן את השמיים והשמש החמה, תן לראות אותה מן הנשמה, תן לנפש שתבער, תן להיות חופשי ומאושר. שיר לנו שיר ושלח לנו אור, תן יום בהיר ולטהור, חד בנפשי לבן ומואר, בוא חופשי ולך מאושר. יש ימים יפים שהדרכים בהן גדולות, יש דברים טובים גם בלילות, וכל מה שעוד נותר רק להיות חופשי ומאושר. שיר לנו שיר ושלח לנו אור, תן יום בהיר ולטהור, עוד תפילה אחת אנחנו נבקש ממך, עוד תפילה נריע לשמך, זכור אותנו גם מחר, תן להיות חופשי ומאושר, שיר לנו שיר ושלח לנו אור, תן יום בהיר וערב טהור, חג ונפשי לבן ומואר, בוא חופשי ומאושר.
תתארו לכם עולם יפה, פחות עצוב ממשהו ככה, ואנחנו שם הולכים עם שמש בכיסים ומעל גגות הכוכבים, והזמן עובר בלי פחד, ואני הולך לפגוש אותה בגן העדן. תתארו לכם קצת אושר, כי הוא כל כך נדיר כאן, עיר מגניבה בתוך החושך, ושנינו בסמיכה, והיא מלטפת אותי ואומרת לי מחר יקרה מה שרצית, ועם לאט השתקפויות של עצב ושמחה. תתארו לכם באמצע יום יפה, שמיים עליכם, אהבה איתכם, כן ככה זה קרה, לפתע היא אמרה, אני עוד זוכר אותה, כמו בסערה. תתארו לכם אותי נופל לתוך זרועות ערה.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 40th anniversary of Sorel, celebrating 40 years of Sorel and honoring the memory of General Aharon Davidi. With the presence of all of you special guests, welcome. Within a few minutes, we will start this special event. Thank you for coming. Welcome to Jerusalem.
תארו לכם את החיים זזים אחורה וקדימה, מה שחסר שהוא מתמלא, מה שהיה פתאום ישנו, ואני מביט לתוך עיניה ונגנב בכוח פנימה. תתארו לכם אותנו מגשימים את כל החלומות. תתארו לכם באמצע יום יפה, שמיים עליכם, אהבה איתכם, כן ככה זה קרה, לפתע היא אמרה, אני עוד זוכר אותה, כמו בסערה. תתארו לכם אותי נופל לתוך זרועות ערה. תתארו לכם עולם יפה, פחות עצוב ממשהו ככה, ואנחנו שם הולכים עם שמש בכיסים. תתארו לכם עולם יפה, עיר בתוך החושך, עולם פשוט, תתארו לכם קצת אושר. שתישאר צעיר לנצח.
על הנגב יורד ליל הסתיו ומצית כוכבים חרש חרש, את הרוח עודף על הסף, עננים מהלכים על הדרך.
כבר שנה לא הרגשנו כמעט איך עברו הזמנים בשדותינו. כבר שנה ונותרנו מעט מרבים שאינם כבר בינינו,
אך נזכור את כולם, את יפי הבלורית והתואר, כי רעות שכזו לעולם לא תיתן את ליבנו לשכוח. אהבה מקודשת בדם, את תשובי בינינו לפרוח. הרעות נס ענוך בלי מילים, אפורה עקשנית ושותקת, בלילות האימה הגדולים את נוטעת בהירה ודולקת.
הרעות כי נרייך כולם, שוב בשמך נחייך ונלכה,
כי ראי
שנפלו על חרבך ואת חייך הותירו לזכר,
ונזכור את כולם, את יפי הבלורית והתואר, כי רעות שכזו לעולם לא תיתן את ליבנו לשכוח. אהבה מקודשת בדם, את תשובי בינינו לפרוח. אהבה מקודשת בדם, את תשובי בינינו לפרוח.
ערב טוב, good evening, buonasera, bonsoir, dobra večer. את זה ניקדתי כי הייתי צריך להגיד נכון. אני מיד אתחיל בטקסט.
I will start with the written text in a moment. I want to say something about
I don't want to say special, but very tense evening here in Israel. We all hope that it will stay like that. And we can only say that we hope that it will pass it very, very fast, as fast as we can. So, but we're here in Jerusalem, and you see this is concrete and stone, so you are very safe. Okay, let's hope it will stay like that. טוב, אנחנו אומרים שוב שלום
we say
וברוכים
hello
הבאים.
and
התכנסנו
welcome
כאן
to- we
במוזיאון
gathered
ידידי
here in the
ישראל
Friends of Zion
בירושלים.
Museum in Jerusalem
תוך ציון
to
40
celebrate
שנים
40 years for the creation of the Sarel Association and act on the logistic of the IDF. And this evening is dedicated to the honoring the legacy of its founder, Brigadier General of the Reserve, Aaron Davidi. With us as present-day Israel volunteers throughout the world, and we are here above us they are, and we are in direct broadcasting on the internet, are watching us. Thousands of countries and hundreds of communities worldwide were volunteers from the past and also those of the future of the Sarel, the general director of the museum that we have already a few hundreds already. And these volunteers represent the eternal bond between us and our brothers in diaspora, between Israel and the world, from a place that is all about Zionism, all about love for Israel. Over the years, some 200,000 volunteers arrived in Israel, taking part in the Sarel Association activity, and this evening presents, to a large extent, a strong longing to its founder, Brigadier General Aaron Davidi, who left us in 2012, represented by his doings, the beautiful Israeli. Well, a term that it is always the Israeli, beautiful Israeli. The Israeli of values, and who by all his being represent the love of the people and the land of Israel. He was a person of pure giving, believing and hoping that one has to do all to preserve our homeland and the land of Israel, because we don't have another homeland. This evening we will try to draw the lines describing the man he was, the milestones and essential moments of his life and his legacy, which became inseparable of the IDF spirit, the logistic of the Honorable President of Israel, Mr. Yitzhak Rabin, has sent us greetings from this evening for this evening.
As it achieves its significant 40-year milestone. What started as an emergency response to a moment of crisis in Israel has turned into an impressive logistical operation and to a striking model of deep bonds that connect us all. When the late General Dr. Aaron Davidi, the legendary paratrooper, put out the call for help among the American Jewry back in 1982, he couldn't have possibly imagined the great success of his idea, that 650 volunteers would show up to protect crops in northern Israel, in striking solidarity with Israel's farmers, as an example. But this deep sense of fraternity and solidarity with Israel would blossom into Sarel. It is a testament to so many things. First of all, it is a testament to the power of Davidi's vision and creativity. These were traits that were evident throughout his life as a courageous warrior in battle, and as a person who never hesitated for a moment to do what was necessary to meet the needs of the moment. But it is also a testament, above all, to the deep bonds of love and connection between Israel and world Jewry, to the absolute commitment we share to each other's welfare and to our shared destiny. These are the principles on which the IDF was founded, and the story which binds our people together. It is a story that thousands of Sarel volunteers have chosen to be part of through their service and devotion. I thank Keren Dahan, Sarel's CEO, for her great work, General Davidi's family in the audience today, welcome, and everyone in the IDF who has been part of building and growing this platform, as well as the wonderful board and all the friends who participated and donated to Sarel. I want to send thanks to every one of Sarel's volunteers over the years who've inspired us with their commitment, and to Sarel's supporters to this day, who continue to sustain this beautiful operation and are helping make us a stronger and more unified people. Shalom and ברוכים הבאים.
אני מתכבד להזמין את מנכ"לית עמותת שראל, הגברת קרן דהן. קרן, בבקשה.
ערב טוב, שלום רב וברוכים הבאים. לאירוע הכי מרגש שלנו, 40 שנה לעמותת שראל והוקרת זכרו של מייסד העמותה, תת-אלוף במילואים אהרון דוידי. יושב ראש ההסתדרות הציונית העולמית מר יעקב חגואל, קצין לוגיסטיקה ראשי, תת-אלוף רונן כהן, קצין חי"ר צנחנים ראשי, תת-אלוף גיא לוי, מפקדת יחידת שראל, רב סרן ענב לקט, משפחת דוידי היקרה, מפקדים, לוחמים, מהעבר ומההווה. צוות מוזיאון ידידי ישראל, השותפים שלנו המדהימים לאירוע הזה, חברי עמותת שראל היקרים, צוות עמותת שראל, קולגות יקרות ויחידת שראל האהובות, ומתנדבי שראל היקרים שלנו, מכל הגילאים, מכל המדינות, יהודים ולא יהודים, הנמצאים כאן איתנו, אלה הצופים כאן בבית, מכל רחבי העולם, מכובדיי כולם.
Honorable guests,
תודה שהגעתם,
thank you that
תודה על
you have
השותפות,
arrived.
על
Thank you
העשייה
for the
המשותפת
partnership,
והגשמת
the
חזונו של
common
דוידי.
doing and
שראל החלה
fulfilling
מתוך
the
צורך לתת
vision
מענה
of Sarel. Sarel started from giving an answer to the IDF. And we had another event of security 40 years ago. Today, this is a fact that Sarel is part of the people and that the IDF is part. This part, we are in an emergency situation. This is the essence of the doing of Sarel, to give an answer when there is a need for that, and therefore that purpose Davidi has founded this association. I don't think there is any fate, and anything is given in the above, and the volunteers here give an answer to the IDF units. We are here to help and to support Tzahal, the IDF, in any situation. From here, I want to thank the recovery to the head of the association, Trael Geva, who we love you, a quick recovery, and we miss you. Thank you, and enjoy the evening. Have a nice evening. Thank you to Karen. I have the honor to invite the General Manager of the Friends of Zion Museum, Daniel Wojcik, who hosts us this evening. Please. Good evening, dear audience. The Museum of the Friends of Zion was established in 2015 by Dr. Mike Evans. One of the purposes, the main purpose, was that this place will constitute a home for those non-Jews who support Israel, who arrive in Israel, and that they learn and their connection, their historical connection to the state of Israel. The connection to the Sarel Association seemed to me natural and the right thing to do. Since its creation, more than 400,000 people arrived here, and tourists among them who become ambassadors for Israel in the different countries. We keep contact with that, and we update them about events from Israel and happening here. This place is also a bridge that connects between the many guests who arrive from all over the world and the Israeli audience, and among them a lot of people from the IDF who we invite permanently with a lot of being very joyful, whether it is expressions or less or workshops that we do here. This is also a reason that's why I had it important to bring here and to broadcast it to the million of audiences across the world on the social media. For them, I would like to say something in English, very briefly.
It's an honor to host the celebration of 40 years to Sarel in memory of General Aharon Davidi here at the Friends of Zion Heritage Center. And I allow myself to say, in the name of Dr. Mike Evans, the founder, that our museum is your home, and you're welcome here anytime. שיהיה ערב טוב, מהנה, ובעיקר שקט לכולם.
And especially a calm moment, evening for all of us. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Wojcik, the General Director of the Friends of Zion Museum, who hosts us here tonight. Tonight we have deal with the President, the head of the World Zionist Organization, Yaakov Hagoel, commanders, fighters, Sarel volunteers, and the larger Davidi family. One of the remarkable characteristics of the personality and figure of Brigadier General Aharon Davidi was his humbleness as the Bible describes. Thou shalt be humble. On the one hand, it is a wonderful characteristic which deserves respect, and on the other hand, it made our research work when we preparing this evening more intricate while trying to track in the short time we had the significant moments of his life. The moments of his life from his childhood and up to the founding of the Sarel Association, which celebrates these days 40 years since its creation.
שראל זאת עמותה שפועלת תחת חיל הלוגיסטיקה, זו עמותה שדואגת לתת מתנדבים כ5,000 מתנדבים בשנה. המתנדבים האלה מסייעים להגברת הכשירות והמוכנות של צה"ל.
הם עושים עבודה מאוד מאוד מקצועית וחשובה, ובעצם שותפים מלאים לכל מה שנקרא המאמץ הרפואי הלוגיסטי.
הם באים מכל ארצות העולם, ולנו יש נציגויות במעל 30 מדינות בכל העולם. כשהם חוזרים לחוץ לארץ, הם מספרים על שראל. הם השגרירים הכי טובים.
כשהלוחמים יוצאים לשטח, הם יודעים שהביטחון שלהם בידיים בטוחות, שיש מי שדואג להם, יש מי שמכין את האוכל שלהם באהבה, מי שמכין את הציוד שלהם עם הרבה תשומת לב.
אנחנו צריכים אתכם משתי סיבות. אחד, יש בזה ערך בלתי רגיל, שהנוער שלנו והמפקדים רואים אתכם באים ומחבקים אותם מכל העולם. ושתיים, אנחנו צריכים אתכם, כוח העבודה שלכם הוא בלתי רגיל.
Ils voient que des personnes plus âgées qu'eux, qui viennent et qui demandent à en faire. Ils demandent encore plus, encore plus, encore plus. Et les soldats, ils sont admiratifs devant ça, du coup, ça les pousse à faire encore plus aussi.
בזכות שראל אנחנו ממלאים אלפי שעות עבודה בשנה, שבמידה ולא היו מתנדבים, היינו חייבים לגייס חיילי מילואים.
הם באים עם המון רצון טוב, הם באים על חשבונם.
On se sent très concerné par ce qui se passe en Israël, parce qu'on a des enfants et des petits-enfants dans l'armée, et tous les soldats sont nos enfants.
Aujourd'hui, c'est important pour moi d'aider les soldats de Sahel, parce que tous les jours, ils risquent leur vie pour nous.
J'ai une tendresse et un amour pour ces jeunes qui nous défendent, et voilà, j'estime que si on peut les aider, les soulager un petit peu, ben, voilà.
This is an opportunity for Jewish people who want to help Israel to show the Israeli people that the Israeli people and the soldiers have friends all over the world.
If you're looking for a way to make a contribution to Israel, I cannot think of a more meaningful way to do it than to join with Sarel.
I have always felt an obligation to give back to Israel as a Jew, and I honestly feel like I'm accomplishing something here.
Il y a beaucoup de récompenses, je veux dire, psychologiques, morales, et je conseille à tout le monde de venir.
הדבר המיוחד שהם עושים זה בעצם הקשר בין אומות העולם לצה"ל, לצבא ההגנה לישראל ולמדינת ישראל. זאת התגשמות החלום הציוני.
שראל היום יותר מתמיד צריכה את העזרה שלכם, לא רק בהגעה לארץ אלא גם בצמיחה. אנא עזרו לנו לעזור לחיילי צה"ל ולצבא.
ערב טוב.
Good evening.
אחד. ערב טוב, נמצאים איתנו כאן שני קצינים בכירים.
IDF Logistic Brigadier General Ronen Cohen. Good evening, Chief of the Infantry and Paratroopers Corps.
מה זה קצין חי"ר וצנחנים ראשי, הוא לא ידע, אבל קצח"ר הוא ידע ישר. תת-אלוף גיא לוי, שלום.
Brigadier General Mr. Guy Levy, first of all, we thank you that you have arrived tonight. I know there's a period at a very intricate day in the IDF. Ronen, I would like to start with you and to get from your point of view from IDF, what is Sarel for you? First of all, I was exposed to Sorel for the first time to 2011 when I was logistic officer of a group came to the Amiad camp. They told me there's a group, there are volunteers from abroad. The Amiad camp is in the north near Barshpina. And said, why do they come here? I asked myself, what is their interest to also to pay for the airfare to work in the heat? Amiad is not a simple camp. And I really worked my head for a long time with this until I was nominated for this position, and Karen got into the position, and she took me with her, and I was contaminated by that. I warn you, it is contaminating to be in with Sorel. I found a wonderful group, and they deserve a round of applause. They are here up in the balcony, a wonderful group. And we also traveled a little bit in the world and met these people everywhere in this world, and that really have a thirst for the connection with Israel, the connection with the IDF, and to bring also value, to contribute to IDF. And I say this organization succeeds to bring a big value to the 4,000 volunteers per year. They will work in all works of the army and the supply of medicine, in the storages. But the important is that the officers and the soldiers that meet them, they ask the same question that they asked 10 years ago. When they understand that, they start to understand the connection between the Jewish community and Israel. And it takes place in IDF. Personally, there are stories, she said, that wow, others, I said the one who contaminated is Karen, and she took me to several communities in France and the US, and I'm already contaminated by it. I want to say, because it is fascinating to see Jews across the world and to give them, to translate what we are experiencing here, and then make the gap of information smaller, and especially to connect them with that. Now, Guy, I would like to talk about legacy of legacy of the Davidi. Davidi was nominated by Rabin as the head, first the paratrooper of the legacy of Davidi starts not in his roles, what he did. It starts much before that in the paratroops, and also was exposed to the name Davidi as a young soldier and then as a young officer in the paratroopers. And I think his legacy is told, is estimated. It is also our past show indicator of him, Davidi, as the combatant, the young officer, and the head of the division, part of his friends who bring over this legacy are here, and his family, all members, and doing a very sacred work to tell from one generation to another. There's a face here, faces which I meet about the combat and the fighting and the courage that this generation represent, and Davidi in person, and the role of the head of the paratroopers. I didn't know who the head of the head paratroopers. I didn't know that Davidi was the head of the paratroopers. I knew who it was until I took over this. I learned his stories and the mitle and the reprisal actions, and who doesn't know about that? Also, the combatants are doing these tours in the Red File. Who doesn't know the Chetz Shachor? It is in the southwest of the road. It is a hit looks of Bet Hanun and the Gaza Strip. It was a very beloved small mountain for David Sharon, and also very favorable, unfortunately, to the enemy. And I'm telling you in a very authentic way that when I came the first time to the chamber of the head of the paratroopers, and one of the first pictures I saw was the picture of David. For a moment I looked at it. To your question, yes, his legacy is told, and it goes over not from the position of the head of the paratrooper, but for the position of a combatant and a commander. You think that it penetrates, you say it depends. I didn't know. You think that that it goes into the impregnates into the comment. I think something goes through. You said something about the humbleness. I want to tell you something about the humbleness. If I understood this production, it is also what will happen very soon. But I took all my best officers to dialogue, to a conversation with the Ron Almog in Nahalat Iran. He will join us in a minute, and without knowing it. So he told me something very interesting concerning humbleness to me and my officers who were present with me. And the head of who was the head of the division, it's not important who he was, but what is important what he did, and that's really very congruent with what Davidi did. Davidi was a person of doing, and to leave a stamp, to leave a seal, and not my name. I did this or that, and I think this is how we understand and we honor him. Let's go back to Sarel. Do you feel that the activity of Sarel Association, is it symbolic only, or it had also significant, it had a more weight than what we see? I will start first with that it has a symbolic value. I will tell 2 short stories to do this morning. I opened the day with all the commanders of the training camps in the infantry units of the Golani, and we started with a physical. We were very sweating, and we were very hard workout. And as I come on, some volunteers of Sarel, I saw them also here. All of a sudden, I saw them, and I didn't know that we would close the circle so quickly. And I felt, and also my commanders felt that, come on, man, be straight ahead and look what is these people, where they came from, what they're doing. 7 o'clock in the morning, they're all here. We're opening the day, and this is a very strong message. And I always say that the doing is the message. To see them and their doing is a very important message. To your question, asked before that, I was the commander of the officer camp. It is also a reserve camp. I want to tell you one episode in that connection. We had to change the organization of our weapons, and the head of the logistics told me, and I recommend that we should do 1, 2, 3. It will be more effective, more correct. I said, I know what will happen in the moment. You will ask me to spend 2 hours, 2 weeks of the cadets to do this work. I said, no, we will not. We will do it. And emergency said that, give me 3 weeks. He told me, and it will be ready. And I gave him this 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks, they called me again, and I was surprised. How did you do that with 2.5 soldiers that you have? He said he took me to storage of Sarel, showed me how they organized the whole storage place in 3 weeks. It's not only symbolic; it is an actual thing, and that made our reserve group had improved their quality. It had all the significant operational significance, and in doing it up to the operational in the field, on the battlefield itself. I will go to the practical point that Guy has started with. During all my roles that I had at Metzar, and we did quite a lot of activities to increase the readiness of the soldiers of the unit. And the end, when we were summing it, I said, what is the value of the volunteers? Here we got 4,000 days and so on. So here the contributed to that, and that contributed by other things. And we found out that really the contribution we can quantitate it. This is the practical part, but the essential part that in 2023 and the volunteering is not something that is self-evident. Not many do that. People like this time to be very personal. They're looking for the personal satisfaction, and they don't see it through the volunteering factor. But we meet in 2023 people who come from all over the world, from the diaspora, from so many countries, all ages, by the way. and work very hard here and leave their home, their work at home, leave their family, pay for the airfare. They work here. They've had an incredible value that this story of the Jewish stories of giving, of solidarity, of connection, that the roots of all the communities are still connected here, and they are still getting their water from here. This is more important than the practical thing. Our younger generation that looks at it gets a lesson without explanation of the value of volunteering in this era. This connects me to the next question. There is a lot of, at the time being, there is a dialogue among the people, and there's think of Sarel. Maybe it's a mirror to see for the people that the army of the people is not a high term, but it is something practical. This is a connection. I think that this state cannot continue to exist without this term of the army of the people, because much is more. It's not much it's greater, and the place of the position of Sarel here, I don't think there is a connection between the army of the people. I find the connection on two aspects. The first aspect is those who have to be enrolled into the army. In 2023, this thing received many question marks in the last year. We have a lot of exclamation points. We're doing the term, the army of the people has to remain. And Sarel, is it a stone in this wall? But yes, Sarel, because we bring people from all over the world, we put them on uniform, and we get to be part of this amazing endeavor. That is, the IDF is an amazing endeavor of the state of Israel. And you said in your opening address that we are in a situation opposite Gaza. I want to say to you, we have created this situation. We were the initiator. We are proud of this situation. We put it on the table. And therefore, there is something very, very special in this endeavor called IDF. I am very proud for the last 31 years to be part of the IDF. And for those who live in the country, who takes part in the IDF, and who has the occasion to be part of this wonderful thing, I tell it to the volunteers who hear us in the camera.
And we are waiting for you.
Well, that sums up the importance of the volunteers of Sarel. I will tell you the following. First of all, I agree absolutely with Ronen that we are in a period that the story of volunteer and the fighting units I represent is not something self-evident. In every dialogue that I have with young combatants and young officers and young commandants, I'm talking about the model of the army of the people. Basically, we have the understanding that you're going to do something that is greater than you, than your personal benefit. I think that by this message, Sarel is exactly the story that people are ready to do something that is not for themselves, but for an idea, for some message from something significant that is greater than themselves, and this is the connection, therefore, that I find above all within the end. There is something practical. Guy and thank you very much. That is one to talk in 2023. That is amazing, and there's many in 2023. Apropos the young people, that they are a little pampered. They are in another era. These young people, 12,000 people are in preparatory courses for the army. For every place in such a preparatory course, between 4 or 8 people are competing, candidates for that. That tells the story that what is the significance of the that leadership that these youngsters are looking for. Therefore, I said, yes, this is the army of the people. That the generation is not deteriorating, is getting the same and better than before. We will free the stage. And you mentioned Ron Almog, the head of the chairman of the Jewish Agency, a great combatant, a family of combatants. He sent us also a message for this evening.
Very close friend, admirable commander at the Bar Brigade. a leader with a personal example and huge influence on my generation. Number two, the work you do, the volunteers arriving to the Israel Defense Forces to assist, to support, to connect, and working closely together. Continue taking initiative, continue visiting Israel, continue assisting the IDF. Bless you. I'm very grateful and thank you. Thank you.
אנחנו עוד נחזור לסיפור של שראל לאורך הערב הזה, נראה וגם נשמע.
And here Ron Davidi with his own voice in a rare interview conducted in 2011 by the Foundation's Story of Israel, Toldot Israel. The Foundation authorized us to use material out of that interview, which helped us to follow bring a lot of Davidi on this evening, his figure and his combat until the creation of Sarel, and of course, true from his point of view, that has to do with the wars of Israel, the creation of the Unit 101, the creation of the paratroopers battalions, the creation of the IDF, and the days prior to the creation of the state of Israel. And on this historical list, on my side, Major General Professor Levi Chofesh and Major General Tzuri Sagi, both of them. I try to find the right. They are friends in arms. Every station will be another station that we may miss on. We'll talk this evening quite a lot about Davidi, and each one of you in a short more. What is Davidi for you? Very briefly, please describe it. Davidi, the commander, the best commander that I knew ever in the army. That was very brief. I have a lot to say, but you defined it. The best commander. How do one say it? That Eric, when he came to the paratroopers from the 101 unit, Davidi was already in the battalion, and then the reprisal actions of the IDF failed. We have a long story about the 101. I wasn't a part of the 101. I was in the paratroopers, as Davidi was in the paratrooper in life. No, they thought to think me. They tried to create like a British platoon, but it didn't succeed. So they brought Arik along them and nominated Davidi as his adjutant, and the division became a laboratory of fighting. Every single action was investigated, planned, and they set what are the new methods. They have been examined in action, and from action to the other actions got forward. And all the action, the Arik, what always they can take control, and Davidi also in the investigation, also in the planning, and also with the forces on the battlefield. And in many cases, the Mitle action and other actions, many other actions became complemented. And Davidi, with his calmness, got out of this to keep the ammunition. We will have a lot to talk. Keep your ammunition, but I have a lot of ammunition. A good commander keeps his ammunition. Sorry. We'll talk about it later. We have a large chapter about the Mitle action during the and your interaction with Davidi. Levi, what is your definition for Davidi? I actually arrived with the paratroopers to the new unit together with Davidi Omo. Davidi came from the other battalion, the old battalion, that was conducted on a level in other terms and not for fighting purposes. And we actually we joined the vision, the night of the connection between the 101 to the paratroopers, a very important unit in the story of the IDF. And the first time we had a new unit that was very different from what we knew at that time at the IDF. And Davidi had a very large contribution for that. His calmness, his understanding, his intelligence, his approach, above all, within the fighting, the unbelievable conduct to take responsibility in a very clear way, with intelligent way, and in all the actions, and many of them that we have done together in common. His shade was a very important factor for the success. From this point of view, in the domain of fighting, Davidi has a very important contribution for the unit of the Persians all over the generation. And what is also about these days, we spent a lot of Saturdays in the base, and it was boring. And Davidi was the king of our chess mates. Chess play. On a Saturday, he would put 10 or 15 people down and start playing chess together. And most of them, he won in a very good atmosphere, in a good, very matter of fact, that made for the next, connected us and made us friends. And big belief between us. A long time I was with him in different actions of the arm. I think that his calmness, his intelligence, his responsibility, above all, were the main factor of success. We would like to start of the beginning of the Davidi from the beginning. I want to complete this story. Davidi would lie on the bed and read a newspaper, and the officer would sit around the table with a chess, and somebody was trying to do with the horse to do something, a cheaty move. Davidi knew which part was, and he said, Davidi, you cannot cheat me, put it back. A chess player, a gentleman, and an officer. Let's start with the beginning, the Admam and the land of Israel.
אמי שרה ואבי לוי התחתנו ב-1906 או 7 באוקראינה. לאמי היו 5 בנות דודה בארצות הברית, והיא דרשה לנסוע לשם. אבל אבי היה ציוני כנראה, והוא לחץ להגיע ארצה, וכך הם הגיעו ב-1920. הם השאירו ילדה אחת שנפטרה באוקראינה ובאו ארצה. שני הילדים היותר מבוגרים הגיעו ארצה. אחר כך נולדה אחותי בשנת 22 ואני בשנת 27. דמות ההזדהות שלי הייתה עם אחי, כי הוא היה מפקד בהגנה. היה מבוגר ממני ב-16-17 שנים, ואחר כך זה עבר לאבי כשהתחלתי להבין קצת יותר את הדברים. לא שהאח נשאר כל הזמן, אבל אחר כך נוסף האבא. אבי הגיע לאזור נווה צדק, על יד הדיונות שם, נתנו לו אוהל, שק לחם, מות ברזל, שאל למה מות הברזל, אמר בלילה לשמור. אחר כך בגיל יותר מבוגר שקראתי בתנ"ך, ספר נחמיה, נזכרתי באחת ידו עושה במלאכה ובשני דוחף את השילח.
זה דור תש"ח, נכון? שהיה את המשפט, לא כל כדור...
Not every bullet kills. You are actually those who arrive later with this forming sentence. Just a minute, we don't belong to the 1940. I was enrolled in 1952 to the first paratroopers of Harari, what I told you before. And the term that not every bullet kills is something that accompanies you. More than that, even. I have learned that most of the bullets that are simple that's in the battles, the bullet has to shoot only to a destination. That the destination that you think that you will hit it, otherwise don't shoot. Today, when I see the soldiers they have this bullet with them. I'm getting crazy. I remember that we went to a combat with five with a very small number of bullets, and then Uzi rifle, and I always some bullets said, "How many Arabs do you kill?" One of the professionals is to shoot for a purpose. Otherwise, don't shoot. And all that bullets that you have in suppressor, there's another concept I have learned from my large experience that the one who is right in his approach, those doing the cowboy films, those discovers first the presses first and this is on the strategic point of view and also the tactical point of view, and therefore I don't understand why they're carrying so many bullets, because usually you have to be easy, not and very quick, and not carry too much ammunition. If the ammunition takes 2-3 seconds to be shot before by somebody else. So explain it to the IDF. You sit in the IDF. Some remarks from the audience that I cannot hear. Do you agree with him? I want to think the education of the combat, that the people of 1948 is educating you. You were not in 1948, the beginning of Israel generation in the Army. Davidi, absolutely, from this point of view, was for us a different personality. We were, I was saying at that period, most of the paratroopers were members of kibbutzim and moshavim, villages. And you are from Afikim, right? And from this point of view, there were a framework which we created a different atmosphere that was until then in the army. Davidi arrived with us, and very quickly he integrated in our atmosphere and ambiance. From this point of view, it was in personal talks with him and in a group talks, he always brought that up. That what brought this essential change in the army, that was the friendship, the trust, the common help, and the ability of the members of the kibbutz brought to the kibbutzim from the kibbutzim a very large contribution that wasn't there until that in the paratroopers. Most of the fighters, the combatants, were members of kibbutzim. Afterwards, it dispersed and changed, and Davidi very quickly integrated and became for us a very significant figure. It brings me to the next issue, that how they considers the Aliyah and how he sees IDF as the melting pot of the Israeli society. This is a continuation direct to what you're saying, that it was not only the Moshavim and the people from the cities, but also newcomers, Olim, Chadashim, as we say in Hebrew.
את הפנייה שלי גם ידין להישאר. אפשר שכנע אותי בעיקר להישאר בצה"ל בתור קצין. והייתה לי מחלקה של גח"ל. אני קיבלתי אותם ולימדתי אותם מנשק ועד רחיצת שיניים. היו לי טורקים, היו לי צ'כים, מרוקאים, אני חושב, 4 שפות. היינו מדברים הרבה בידיים, היה לי סמל מחלקה שאני חושב שידע צרפתית, הסתפקנו במה שיש.
זה משהו אחר, נכון? זה לא הפיקוד המחוספס.
The rough Davidi, because they arrived to the new interpreters, no doubt about the dramatic change was absolutely when the connection was between the famous unit 101 that was very small with the interpreters that make it a new unit with a different characteristic. Davidi came from the period that he described where he was under different notion, and it was for him very not simple, this integration, but very quickly understood it and gave a large contribution. One of the figures, and you touched upon it, Michael Levi Chofish is telling that they were sort of soldiers that I don't know what to say about them anything, but they didn't work out with them. And then kibbutz members came and Moshavnikim and others, not only, and changed the game with the help of David by his guidance. But from these people who then make the integration of the melting pot, it didn't really work out. So I wanted to touch upon a point that I said, wait, I have a lot of stories to tell you, I know. But it's clear to me that I have just to say that you're like an explosive. You have so many stories to tell and you can explode these stories. But I'm trying to control the explosiveness, volume, but of course also in a positive. You mentioned Ariel Sharon. If there is one figure that goes with Davidi, that accompanies Davidi, is Ariel Sharon. If you mentioned Ariel Sharon, a very important officer in the army of Israel, and later a member of parliament and prime minister.
הדבר הכי חשוב היה בקשר טוב עם משה דיין, שהאמין בו, ועם בן גוריון, כי בן גוריון ראה את הכישרונות של שנת 52. הגדולה שלו הייתה בהשגת אישורים לפעולה. משה דיין נתן את ההוראה, אריק בא אליי וביקש אותי כסמג"ד, הראה לי את תוכנית הפעולה. התפקיד שלי היה לכבוש את המשלט. שמו בנגלו, הצצנו, נכנסנו פנימה. אני חושב שהרגנו 3 מעילים, כי הם ברחו משם. היו מעילים על הארץ, ירינו להם. זהו, ואז אני יושב ומחכה שמה, ואריק בינתיים הלך לכפר, וככה תיארנו את המשלט הזה. רובם ברחו, אבל חלק ירד, בפנים כמעט לא ירו. אבל בכל זאת היו לנו, אני חושב, 3 הרוגים. הייתה שם חוליה אחת חזקה מאוד שמירה הוציא אותי כלא. אני בעיקר עסקתי בתכנון, באימון וביציאה לפעולות.
ככה, התחלת לדבר על זה קודם לכן, על ארי.
Talking about Ari and his deputy Davidi. Ari managed the platoon, and the one who did the work was Davidi. Not that Arik didn't do the work, but Davidi was also in investigation, that in their light we planned the changes. Also in the execution on the battlefield, and also in determining new perception. Arik was the commander, and he was a laboratorian, and Davidi was the professor. They were like a laboratory together. How was the relationship between them? How do you say it? It is sufficiently higher than me that I haven't seen, I've never heard anything that Arik is something bad about Davidi. And what Davidi said, I will not say. What Davidi said about Eric, I will not say. I think that along the way, if it will be possible to indicate the point, the very significant indicator in the relationship between Arik and Davidi is the Sinai war at the Mitle. There were the roughest moments that Davidi became the figure, the essential figure who led the combat. Arik disappeared. Actually, the first time we saw the change on the battlefield in a very critical point where the conditions were really very, very difficult. We'll get back to the Mitle in a minute. It's also your part in it. You have a very important part in this. I want to say to Meir Zion, another important legendary combatant of the army. So I want to hear together how Davidi describes his impression and the meeting with Meir Zion.
מאיר ציון היה איש מחלקת הסיור שעשו את רוב הסיורים. מאיר לימד את הגדוד, אותי, את אריק, את כולם, בלילה, במסירות למשימה. הכל היה איש נהדר, במיוחד לוחם אולי הגדול ביותר שהכרתי.
משה הר ציון איתנו? בנו של מאיר? משה הר ציון איתנו. מיד הגיע אליכם המיקרופון גם. אני חושב שתספר לנו על הנוכחות של דוידי אצלכם במשפחת הר ציון.
טוב, אני דוידי מכיר I know Davidi since I was born. I remember there are a lot of people who would arrive at their home. Davidi among them. What was special about him? A lot of people used to come to our home, and not all of them were interested in the others. Davidi, when he would arrive, he would always call us, the children, and ask us, how are you? How is it in school? Something like that. Something. Our parents didn't ask this question. Davidi would have asked, had asked that. He had also the attention, and he was caring for what is happening around him. It's sort of an elegance that was very typical of him. And they arrive a lot. A lot of people arrived, but he was exceptional. I was thinking about when I see all the friends, Davidi's friends present here, and our friends Ishai, the number 2 in the unit of Meir, my father. My father wouldn't arrive to a lot of events. He always stayed at home with the troops. He felt better with the cows on the ranch. I think for this evening he would have come very gladly. He really apprecited Davidi, highly estimated him, and remembering all the family events. They had a sense of a friendship, of amicable friendship. Only people who fought together a lot can understand what I'm talking about. So thank you, and lots of success. And also the Sarel association, I knew already at that time, and really all the best of success to all of you, and good evening. Thank you, Moshe, who is the one who is also with Ismael Merchav, who was also one of the combatants at the 101 unit. You can also tell us about the video. Mr. Moshe Merchav, one of the members of the 101 unit. Before that, I would like to, there's also from the 101, Mr. Zimmerman. I would like him to bring him also a microphone. It will be passed to him later. You have to bring the microphone close to your mouth, otherwise you will not be heard across the world. I would like to complete the thing that is connected to Harsha. There's no doubt that he was the person that Arik listened to him and took into account his senses and his intuition. At that time, Hartzion at the time, in his free time, he would go to Petra and to other places which were forbidden to go there. And me, in my free time, I would go into the to the nurses' school in the Kaplan hospital. It's good you put a point here, and you didn't elaborate of smuggling into the nurse school. For friends that will agree with me if I will add few words to what they said. And we cannot hear him. Sorry, I cannot hear the speaker. Hear the audience. Now you can hear this audience. Each one of us has his own story, and fortunately, I was fortunate. For me, Davidi was a man of exception that one had to adore. That you have to cherish a teacher, an educator, a person of large knowledge and lover of mankind. He had a very big contribution in forming the generation of the commanders of the unit after it was integrated with the 101 unit and its enlargement. And he was a leader, and he was outstanding in critical moments. So regarding to the story in Mittler, this is exceptional. What a leader he was then. I was in a battalion that was that was also the center of the division Davidi arrived to the headquarters, and it turned out that he came out, and I was the first one he saw. He saw me. He went towards me and walked with me, and by his way, he put his hand on my shoulder and told me, you know, it was very difficult. This is a sentence I will never forget. The fighters of Shemot. Thank you very much to get a fighter with Davidi at the 101 legendary unit. I would like to go back to you to one more question before we go to the next excerpt. There is one sentence, and I quoted that says that the commander must blow on the neck of the one in front of him. What is meant by that? Davidi said a lot of things, and many things were very intelligent, but I think that what is it to blow on the neck, to be close and to be adjusted to the commander. The commander must blow on the neck of the one in front of him. I will repeat the version. I think on the contrary, usually the commander has to be the first, and the one who behind him is the one to blow on the neck of the commander. It has to be vice versa. That's what I think. So what did he mean? So maybe he meant that you always to go forwards. The commander, it is not always right that he has always to be in front, but he has to lead when you are starting the battle, and there is a small unit you're leading, but it's a large unit that is spread out with the division or something like that. So the commander of the division cannot be the first one. He must be at the point where he can control the battle. I want you to hear the stories from the next excerpt. We will hear Davidi. It talks about the battle at the Mitle.
כן, הגדוד של מוטה היה הגדוד על רחמים, שהיה בצהריים. ראיתי שאנחנו מפקד שם, ומיכה היה מכשיר 300 של מ"פ, עם מכשירים קטנים 536 של בנני. הקשר הראשון שלי היה דרך המכשיר של מיכה, 300, קריאות ממוטה, אנחנו תקועים, יש נפגעים, פצועים, הרוגים, אנחנו מתחבאים מאחורי איזה רכס קטן, בליטה כזאת. מה אתה יכול לעשות? אמרתי לו, הסיירת תעלה, הוא אומר, תעלו למעלה, שם ניצחו. אמרתי למיכה, תן לי את המכשיר שלך הגדול, ועוד מכשיר קטן, ומתקשר איתך מכשיר קטן. זהו, עם המכשיר הזה גם היה לי קשר לאריק. מיכה עלה למעלה, ירו עליו, עצר, ובינתיים עוד אתה צועק, דודי, תכבשו, אני לא ידעתי מהחיים שלי. לא למדתי את זה. דיברתי למיכה, תסתער עוד פעם קדימה, כאן מסתער. ואז הוא קיבל את רוב ההרוגים, אלה שנשארו בחיים, נכנסו לתוך שוחות פתוחות, ששם היו הרוגים מצרים שהצליחו להרוג קודם.
It is amazing that he gets a situation with very difficult situation. He functions and very cold-bloodedly, and he describes it without knowing the region, without a preparation. In that actually, Davidi was a commander of a platoon, a battalion. Sorry, and it was my part. We didn't parachute. We came to Davidi with the motorized group, and Davidi continued. When he got to the Mitle, it was not his role to be commander of the action, but it was the role of Arik. But the method got wrong, and there was no control. And Davidi, like in many other cases, when the situation was like in the action of Gaza and other action, took leadership and took control of the situation and got the people out of the battle. I want to say that Levi received outstanding medal for this battle in the Mitla. There's no doubt the event of the Mitla is unique for us until then, maybe later, but for our unit. It is the first time the unit got into a situation, I wouldn't say of helplessness, but to be stuck in a critical situation that somehow one has to get out of it. It is not nice to say, but the head of the division was not there, and Davidi and Raful, basically, Davidi took the command and started to read the battle and to start manage the battle. And at that point, actually, he took two of the officers, me and another one, and gave us the mission that he and neither us, we knew exactly what it was. We knew there was an enemy and that we saw that he's very strong and that our forces are stuck there. Beyond that, we didn't know anything. I will not forget that Davidi called us. Look, he said, this is the situation. I cannot guide you. I don't know what there is there. I trust you. Go slowly and identify the pleasant and success. And from this point of view, there was something very rare, something exceptional. When you go to a place, the unit is stuck from forward, from behind, with a lot of casualties, by the way. And you're supposed to open the situation, and you don't know exactly how it's there, and you open the fortress and to know that things are organized. Fortunately, we solved it in a good way, but from the view of David, it was a point that he took an unbelievable responsibility. It was very dark. We didn't know exactly where he called us and said, Oved and me, Oved unfortunately was killed in this battle. I trust you, go along, and this is the situation, and this is your responsibility. And fortunately, we succeeded. About Sinai, one has to say, Davidi goes to studies in France. Upon his return, Lieutenant General Yitzhak Rabin nominates him to be the chief officer of the Paratroopers Corps.
נכנס רבין לחדר, ככה קצת מזועזע, אבל רפול נפצע, תלך להחליף אותו. רבין אהב מאוד את רפול, ממש, הרגשת את זה תכף. אמרתי, קח מטוס, ותיסע, תנחת, הם עכשיו על יד קנטרה. טסנו לשם, נחתנו, ואז נפגשנו עם כוחות החטיבה, היינו שם בגדוד 50, בגדוד 890, המפקדים שם היו עייפים בצורה בלתי נגמרת. תגידי, תן לנו לישון מחר בבוקר, בשום דבר באופן, לא נעשה לילה, זה דבר נוראי.
זה הקטע שהוא מחליף את רפול הפצוע.
That when he replaces Raful who is injured, give us to sleep, and the Egyptians are sleeping now. That's the time to attack. I will tell you exactly what happened. By accident, I returned from America, from the officer school of the Marines. I went down to the bunker and I asked Chaim Nader, where is the war and where is the Vidi? He was the commander of the operation. Let's go to Chalnov, that was an air base of the army, and we'll take parachutes, and he is part of the force that is going to take over Sharm el-Sheikh in the Egyptian peninsula. So they let me parachute with the reconnaissance group of the chief of staff and Davidi, the head of the helicopter force. And on the way, as we passed Eilat, the color was rose, then transparent, then violet, and when there was red, they lost and so stood before me a parachuter trainer. He said, Davidi has Victor, the airport of Ras Laffit without a battle. You don't parachute. We are landing. Who has never seen happiness has not been at that time. The happiness was extraordinary. When we arrived there at this airport that he conquered, Davidi said, "Good that you came." And I asked him what happened, and he said, "They announced me free from the chief of staff, full in the northern axis, was wounded, and I have to go and replace him. I don't know the area, I don't know the region, and have no maps. You're coming with me, and you are leading because you remember this area from the war of 1956. The truth is, I did remember it from the officers' school with a brush, which I did in 1953. So we went to the head of staff. We got training from Rabin. We took an airplane, a drawer, and I don't know where we landed in El Arish, and we landed on the road before of Kantara. And Davidi put me in the first jeep, warm wake, but I look back and the tank is destroyed. Amos Katz, who was the head of the commander of the tanks, he stands next to me and he said, "Come to me." He shows me. I got on the tank of Katz. He took me to Davidi, and we planned the continuation, and Davidi said to me, I got a notice from the bunker, the head bunker, from Sasson Levy, a great person he was. And Sasson announced to Davidi, he took part of the planes. If you wait until the morning, he said to us, you will get help from the Air Force, and you will have a heavy Air Force help. Davidi decided at that point, we'll wait until the morning. We waited for the morning. I don't go on the jeep anymore, but sit behind the thing, and I see the tank. There's this crazy person there that I feel secure, because the tanks were ahead of me. I feel secure, and we took over the region until the bridge of Tir Dan without any casualties. I will stop you. As we arrived to the Tir Dan bridge, we received the artillery very strongly and airplanes that came down on it, and then Naftali Fisher got killed, one of the commanders. I will stop you here. We looked for an excerpt that Davidi talks about you. We found one of them. Please hear it.
רבין מינה אותי לקצין צנחנים ראשי. היה דן שומרון, היה מ"פ של שלום גידי, דני רהב היה מ"פ של דולרים, יאיר צור היה מג"ד 890, ואת גדוד 50 השארתי בקנטרה, כי זה היה אזור ששם אפשר לעבור את התעלה. אז הם נשארו שם ואנחנו המשכנו דרומה. מה שראיתי זה, על הכביש מצד ימין היה סימן של ביצות. שם זה לא ממש ביצה, אבל זה מה ששוקעת על מים מלוחים נמוכים. אז הדבר היחידי שאמרתי, להתעכב עם גופים שמאליים, בשום פנים באופן לא מבין. ואז באמת נתקלנו במצב, אתה יודע מה, היו שם מינימום 12 תותחי 122 בכיוון ישיר. היו שם מרגמות 160. היו שם, אני חושב שהיה גדוד מצרי בערך, אבל המון נשק. וקיבלנו מכה רצינית. אני זוכר את הרעש, נגיד. צורי שבא איתי שמתי אותו על הפלוגה הראשונה שהייתה פלוגת המסע של איציק מרדכי. אני לא הכרתי אותו. אז כבר עטפתי על ידו שהוא איתה בסדר. והם קיבלו את הרש הראשונה. רובם ברחו מעל זכרים, קיבלנו הפגזה חזקה, זאת אומרת הרבה פצצות של 160. מזלנו שזה היו פצצות חודרות וזה התפוצץ בתוך האדמה. דן שומרון והטולרים וגדוד 890 עלו על המוצב הזה בעזרת הטנקים, היה לי מ"פ טנקים יוצא מהכלל, עמוס כץ. שם היה באמת שלל גדול בנשק, אבל הרוגים לא היו כי הם ברחו.
כן, זה היה כמו לשמוע עכשיו סרט בשתי מצלמות, אתה מהזווית שלך ודוד מהזווית
for two cameras, yeah, David from his point of view and you from your point of view. They want to get later to the Golan Heights by the war somehow, and that we jump in the war, Davidi, when the Gesher done the gun bridge, he told me to take a jeep and to send you to El Arish. You waiting. Go to the Mossad, and then Davidi said to me, actually the war is over here, I'm coming with you, and I want to take over the war in the north. We took the jeeps together. All the Egyptian army was retreating in our front. To pass the Egyptian fleeing army was not also difficult. I got to them, I said I had a mission to do, a very strange mission. They told you need to take this two planes and you fuel them along the way, and you go to Iraq, you fly to Iraq to go to Mullah Mustafa Vadani, your friend, and you free two pilots that fell at H3. I said, guys, it is I had nowhere to hide. I have another idea. Give me a ticket to Tehran. I will go to Mullah Mustafa and we'll see what we can do. And they said, oh, they'll bring the Iraqi officer that we can change the Giora Treister was with his hospital, a field hospital in Kurdistan. And while we are planning, etc., they said you can come back home. The Iraqi have returned our pilots to the Jordans because they didn't have with what to exchange, so I returned home. From my point of view, the 6-day war was over. Look, you bring us to the next subject, because after the war, Davidi goes to the mission of the Mossad in Iran and Kurdistan. David is sent by the Mossad for a special mission.
הייתי צריך לתכנן פעולה גדולה ומסוכנת. חזרנו לפרס ושם אימנו כ100-120 קורדים שהיו צריכים להיות המ"כים והמ"מים, ובינתיים הודיעו לבערך 1,000 צעירים שיבואו להתאמן.
השאיר עליו רושם התקופה הזאת?
He left any impression on him. I will explain and I will specific. In 1964, I was in Kurdistan. I organized the Kurds for defense, and they have demolished the 4th unit of the Iraqi, this unit that attacked Karmeli unit, Israeli unit in the independence war in Jenin. And then I didn't, after Pesach Mundan, did research on that. He connected the story for me and made the liaison. And then they decided to send me to the U.S. for the commander for course at the Marines, and they asked me who in Europe who can come and manage the war of the Kurds. I said the best one to do that would be David, and said to me is go with him to Mullah Mustafa Barzani, the leader of the Kurds, and present to him, to David, the Mullah Mustafa Barzani. David agreed. Before that, we went to the zoo because I had a bear in Tel Aviv, a zoo, whose name was Mustafa Barzani. Let's continue. I said, we flew to Tehran, and now if I had the honor, all the war with Kurds was in collaboration with the Iranians. But there is no such thing, the honor as I've received from the Iranians at that time when I arrived at, and we see in Tehran, the streets are full of vehicles, and they are honking, and they call out to slaughter Israel. David asked me, "What is this?" I said to him, "We have to find out." We see in the coffee house that people sit in front of the screen of the TV and said, "Kill the Israelis." Let's go inside and let's ask him, the owner of the cafe. I said, "Where are you from?" We are from Israel. He took from the first row people and threw him out and said, "Sit down. What do you see on the TV?" Football game between Israel and Iran. Fortunately, we lost. So we're going forwards. He was David, not a chess player, a gentleman, and an officer, but also a doctor. We found out that he's a doctorate in Asian Studies at the London University. This is a very interesting story because at the age of 17 he left the high school because his parents couldn't afford him to be in school. And this kid ends the doctorate and a lecturer in the University of Tel Aviv in '73. He comes back as a doctor, but directly to the Yom Kippur War in 1973.
חזרתי מאנגליה, בערב התקשרתי עם חיים נדל, שהוא היה מפקד החטיבה, שאלתי אותו, קורה משהו? יש מתיחות, אבל לא דבר רציני. למחרת זה קרה. אחרי יום גיליתי שהם נמצאים בצפון, על יד גונן, אז נסעתי לשם. אחר כך עליתי לרפול, נפגשתי עם רפול, והסביר לי שזה עסק רציני. מה שהייתי זה המשרת האישי שלו, הוא היה שוכן בעייפות, הייתי מפגיש לו שם קר מתחת לראש. דיברנו כמובן מה צריך לעשות, ובערך אבל הוא עשתה תוכנית מצוינת. הספקתי לראות את ההפגזה הנוראה שקיבלנו לקהלני. באמת הפגזה קשה, אבל עמדו בגבורה.
היו לך תחושות של חורבן בית שלישי בתקופה או ברגע מסוים?
אף פעם לא.
אף פעם.
אפילו לא במלחמת השחרור.
זו שאלת הסיכום. בניגוד לאחרים
contrary to the others who were talking about the destruction of the third temple along the way, he talked the independence war and also the Yom Kippur war, but this time he didn't bring it up. He never brought up the destruction of the dam. He was basically an optimistic person, a believer, and his approach to everything was very responsible, very cautious from the security. That is really unusual. I think from this point on, he succeeded to give this ambience, to put his who were under him. And when around him there was a system that believed and acted and had very good achievements, and most of the activities in which he took part. Eli Chofesh, Uri Sagi, thank you very much that you have been with us in this evening. No, sit for a moment. We talked about, pass me very carefully, okay? We talked We talked about the war, Kippur War. It is a very natural passage. I want to invite the children of the Netanya school named after Davidi. They sing the song which is more identified with this war. Let it be.
עוד יש מפרש לבן באופק מול ענן שחור כבד כל שנבקש לו יהי ואם בחלונות הערב או נרות החג רועד כל שנבקש לו יהי לו יהי לו יהי אנא קולות אני שומע קול שופר וקול תופי קול שנבקש לו יהי לא תשמע בתוך כל אלה גם תפילה אחת מפי קול שנבקש לו יהי
תודה לתלמידי בית הספר על שם אהרון דוידי בנתניה. הוא מציין אגב השנה עשור להיווסדו.
At the entrance to the school are written the words of the national poet Bialik. It's written, make it be part of your people, the meek of the world, the humble of heart, the embroiderers of their lives in secret, modest in thought and plot, dreamers who disappear from few things and from many glories. This is this line that is written there on the wall in the school. After the Kippur War and following his brother Davidi, he decides to settle down on the Golan Heights and direct the local community center, and it will be followed by the creation of the Sorel Association.
עליתי לגולן, כי אחי עלה לפני זה. אני אז מנהל מתנ"ס. בעיקר התעסקתי עם נוער. אבל גם בשאר הפעילויות, כולל סחיבת שולחנות או ספסלים להצגות ודברים כאלה.
המתנ"ס היה בבני יהודה.
כן, בעיקר עבודה עם נוער, היינו עושים מסעות אופניים בגולן, עשינו מסע בסיני. עד הגענו עד שארם א-שייח, סיור לימודי כמובן.
כמה זמן היית ברמת הגולן?
7 שנים. אחר כך ירדנו, אחר כך כבר נהייתי זקן. בישראל התחלתי ב-72. זה היה צורך כלכלי, כי במלחמת שמור גליל, רוב אנשי הגולן היו גייסים. ישראל היה להם חסדות. הרעיון לא היה שלי, אבל הביצוע היה שלי. לי באופן יחסי היה שם טוב, היה בקשר טוב, הרמטכ"ל היה אז רפול, אנחנו לשקם את האנשים. אז אני הקמתי את המחנה שם בעזרת הצבא בתספין, והם נסעו לאמריקה לגייס. 2-3 שבועות הם שלחו 300 איש. ואחרי זה עוד קבוצה כזאת, אחרי חודשיים, עוד 350, היה לי מרד שם, איזה מרד. באו החבר'ה האלה, כולם אידיאליסטים ומצוינים. ראו את המחנה האוהלים עם המיטות זבובים, מכרעות, כמובן במים, בואו, אדמה, אמרו, תנאים כאלה אנחנו לא מקבלים. אמרתי להם, מי שלא רוצה, יכול לחזור. אף אחד לא חזר. באמת, הם עשו את זה בגבורה, ואז הם שרתו לא כמו היום 3 שבועות, לא חודשיים.
כאן גם המקום להזכיר את
Meir and Yehuda Chadin that addressed Davidi to create Sorel, and the rest is history, and they are present with me here. Here present with me, Yaakov Aguel, head of the chairman of the World Series, Pascal Berkovich, and Paralympic medalist and the general director of Sorel, Karen Daha. Yaakov, I want to start with you. From your point of view, Sorel does represent what? It's an amazing evening. Look, I want to thank to the general director, everybody. It's very emotional for me. Also, the talking about the honor for Davidi and the honorary evening for Sorel. We in the organization of Zen, we are very proud of this activity of Sorel. It is real. It's real activity. It's the volunteering, the connection of groups to Israel, and you saw to the talked about the army of the people. We are getting into not only the army of the people here, not sit here in Zion, but the army of the people of all the people of Israel. That's what Sorel represents here this connection between Sorel and the diaspora. This is Sorel. Actually, I understand that makes Jews and non-Jews around the world to connect to this idea. First of all, what does it make? I was born here, and also my parents were also born here. I don't know what is to be a Jew in the diaspora, despite the fact that 20 years by my position I was abroad. But when I see these volunteers that came with this brilliance in their eyes to be part of the Zionist operation and to support us and to be part of it, one has to remember this country is not only the country of those who live here today, it is the country of the old people of Israel, those who chose here, or will not choose to, the country of the people of Israel all over the world. And they want to be part of it. And this is the real connection of Sorel. One of the most important organizations. When you look forward to the future, are there any future plans in this matter of Sorel, this connection? But of course, we see Sorel as one of the most important Zionist endeavors, and we did with Sorel things, and we do things which are amazing. I will do things. One of the amazing things that will last 2 years was the tours and plans and tours of contents for the volunteers of Sorel, together with the World Zionist Organization, and we consider Sorel as a part of this important endeavor of the Zionist Karen. I want to ask you, as being the head of this organization, if I would like to ask, what is the most mission of Sorel? Of course, they're looking to the, if you look to the future, I think the big is to be still here in another 40 years ahead, to be here and contribute. And how do we get there? Is our mission is to work together and to continue with all this doing. As in the spirit of David, if you have a target, what is the target for the future to enlarge to the number of the more people from different to get into countries who didn't take part in it? So I think this target to be relevant on the one hand. I go to the, first of all, the IDF. I go to the bases, I talk with the commanders, and I see what are the needs. Do we help or do we don't help? That's what I'm asking them. The second for the volunteers is it's really, do we find the right way to take the people, engage them for this mission? We want to increase the number, to get to new communities. We act alone. To do that, to get into new communities. And the people who look at it and haven't arrived yet, who are watching us right now, to come. We are waiting for you here. Our mission is, your mission is to come and help. And we have a live story here. We have Pascal. What brought you, what connected you to Sorel? Good evening. What connects me to Sorel is Davidi. I met him one evening in 1984. I listened to the Jewish radio in secret because my family didn't want me to come to Israel, and I thought the way goes through Davidi. I didn't know what I'm waiting. I connected to Davidi. He talked in French. He said he knew many languages. Nobody talked about it. Really fluent the foreign languages he knew. And I started hearing Davidi. I knew that's it. What it reached me. I was with my little transistor and was listening in secret. I stop you here for a second. We will get back to this thing. I want to show you something.
זה באמת סוספנס גדול.
לא את זה.
תמשיכי, זה מיד יקרה. Continue. It will arrive soon. No, here it is. Here it is. No.
Okay, תמשיכי לעשות.
Continue. No, here it is. No, here it is. No.
נפצעתי שהייתי באשפוז באורתופדיה, אמרו לי שיש ביקור לחו"ל. ואני אמרתי לו, זה לא יכול להיות, אני לא מכירה אף אחד בחו"ל. אמרו לי, כן, זה מישהו שבא מישראל. הוא בא בשבילך. והכל היה כל כך מוזר, הפציעה, הכל, שאמרתי, טוב, מישהו בא בישראל, למה לא? ומישהו נכנס לי לחדר באותם רגעים, זה אהרון דוידי. נכנס עם חיוך ענק בתוך החדר, אמר לי, מה נשמע? בא עשרות פצועים, מאוד פצועים, אולי ירופים בחיים שלו, לא הזיזו בכלל שני רגליים. שאני עם האירועים ועם התחבושות, והוא פשוט, זה מאוד מרגש אותי לספר את זה. הוא פשוט אמר לי, בסדר, רצינו לקבל אותך כחיילת בצבא, כישראלית. אנחנו, שעוד היה לה רגליים והיית ילדה רגילה. אנחנו נקבל אותך גם בלי הרגליים, אנחנו נקבל אותך בכיסא גלגלים. ואז מה שקרה זה שבעצם הקיר של החדר הקטן שלי בבית חולים בצרפת, הקיר שעמד מאחורי דוידי נפל, כל האופק נפתח, ובבחינתי שום דבר לא יכל לעצור אותי יותר. המטרה שלי זה היה להגיע ארצה, להתנדב למרות שאני בכיסא גלגלים, וזה מה שעשיתי. דוידי אז נתן לי את המספר שלו בבית, אמר לי תתקשרי, מתי שאת מוכנה, אנחנו נקבל אותך. והתקשרתי אליו, והייתי אמורה להתגייס ביולי עם הרגליים, אז התנדבתי ביולי בלי הרגליים, ודוידי קיבל אותי. הוא היה עמום כמובן, כי הגעתי עוד עם תחבושות ומאוד מהבית חולים, ממש מהבית חולים לעצמם. וקיבלו אותי. נתנו לי להציג מספרים של טנקים שהם חוזרים מלבנון, נתנו לי לארוז מנות מזון, נתנו לי לעשות מלא דברים. וכשכבר התאפסתי על השפה, אז דוידי ביקש ממני להדריך קבוצות, שבשבילי זה היה בכוונה, כי הייתי חניכה שנה לפני. ושנה אחרי, הנה אני בכיסא גלגלים ואני קצת מגמגמת עברית ונותנים לי להדריך קבוצות של אמריקאים ושל צרפתים שמגיעים, כמו שאני הגעתי שנה לפני כן. נולדתי מחדש. זה בעצם, נולדתי מחדש אחרי הציון.
נולדת מחדש.
כן, אני לא מכירה את הפוטאג' הזה, אז אני קצת...
I don't know this footage, I'm a little bit surprised, I don't remember it, I promise you a surprise. Yes, yes, yes. Don't forget, I didn't understand what you said. When I came the first time to Sarel, when I started, I knew Sarel from this program on TV, on the radio. I succeeded to get to Sarel for the first time. I was a minor. They gave a special certificate of 17 and a half. I had my legs then. I knew David already then. He worked with Moshe, who was the chief of staff at that time. I was afraid of breathe. They saw me with my hair and the second uniform of working uniform. And he wanted really to come to Israel. He would have me. I returned to France and I got injured. And then this is the story that he came. There was no what's up. He flew to the airport and came to see me in France and to tell me that he actually that he will help to be glad to help me as he promised to enroll in the army and to either with the legs or no legs. He said, your dream is my dream. And people thought he's completely crazy. Why do you bring a girl who has no family, no money, and she has a wheelchair? She had hardly. He also pushes you to the sport action. He didn't like the fact that I got fat. He didn't like the fat women. He said it's not appropriate. And one day he came to me. I remember arriving at the entrance of the camp. I was 18 years old and I knew I'm in trouble. I saw him coming directly to me, very charismatic. He comes to me. He always takes a church to be on the same level. He said, Pascal, you have to decide. I didn't know what he's referring to. You have to decide. I didn't know what he's talking about. He did that. I got to the army 33 kilos with nothing, and after 6 months I was 54 kilos for 1 meter. He meant the Olympic competition. And he said, I invite you to sports activity. You have to swim. And actually, he took his driver, who takes me twice a week, to the swimming pool. It's not something that I wanted. I didn't feel very good to be among the real swimmers. But Davidi said, as a commander, you don't intervene in what he says. You do what he says. That's how I started to swim, and then I started my career as a Paralympic Olympic athlete. Please tell the friends that people come from abroad. How many medals do you have? I have many medals. I represented Israel in 4 Olympic, in Beijing, Rio, Tokyo, and London. I represented it in the Paralympic Games. It all started because of the video. דודי threw me into the swimming pool, but he did something. He took me also to the stage. I was a little girl of 18, I didn't know Hebrew. He said my story is an amazing story, my power is an amazing story, and I have to tell my story. He put me on the stage without any preparation. And he said, now, tell your story. First time on the stage, 500 people sitting in the audience hall. This is the video. You recognize him, right? 500 soldiers in the hall. I don't know Hebrew. I have Biling was a soldier next to me. Today it's I give lectures. It is also due to the video. He really directed my lifespan. You understand? You have how she has Olympic medals. You cannot stop at Maskal Berkovich, Karen Dahan, and all of us are here with us, the representative of Sarel from the world, from the UL, Mark Bonner, from England, Liz Complet, and from France, and Yossi Sapiro. Hello, friends. Good evening.
And I will ask you, I will change to English because I will ask you now all the same question. Why is the Sarel activity is so important in your country? And I will just ask you to stand up and turn to the camera since we are live broadcast. Thank you. Just change to the, turn to the camera.
Why is Sarel so important in the UK and Ireland? One, I would say it brings everybody together. We have, I think at the moment, I'm not good on statistics, but I think it's 300,000 Jewish people in England, 6,000 Jewish people in Scotland, 2,000 in Wales, I think a few hundred in Northern Ireland, and I also represent the Republic of Ireland, who has 2,500 Jewish people. All of those people count. UK and Ireland have been involved with Sarel right from the beginning. Numbers before the pandemic were higher than they are now, I'd have to say. But I believe that the British and Irish contingents make up a really valuable contribution to the Sarel family, to the Sarel Mitnadvim. I think we have a small but really, really loyal group of volunteers for Sarel, and support for Sarel, the IDF and Israel is strong. I don't know if that answers your question fully, but I just want to give you a flavour of how things are for us in the UK. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Toda.
Thank you. It's a privilege to represent the United States here today, and it's a privilege to serve in Sarel. I think the reason Sarel is so important to the U.S. Jewish community is because it's the best way to connect with Israel. Israel's a beautiful country, but there are many other beautiful countries. American Jews can go to Greece and France and other places just like they can go to Israel. But when they come to Israel and they live with the soldiers and they eat with the soldiers and they work side by side with the soldiers, it develops a tremendous connection to the country, which nothing else can connect like that. And that connection between American Jewry and Israel is so important. And Sarel allows us to make that connection. It's a lifelong connection. You never forget if you serve in Sarel once. I've served in Sarel more than once, and many other American Jews do it more than once. Because once you make that connection, you never forget it. So Sarel allows us the privilege of serving Israel and making that connection with Israel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yossi?
שלום.
Hello, Yossi.
הבנתי את השאלה, תודה.
What is the
significance
of Sarel in your country, the activity of Sarel in UK? I need first, you have to talk to the camera, the world want to see it. What is happening today in France is actually is connected to the original idea of Davidi, that he enrolled the volunteers in France. It was the second country after US that joined Sorel was the France, and Davidi was, he had also a past, he had infrastructure in France. He studied that, he knew French, he knew also the community. He saw a grand potential, not only for Sorel, but for the community, the Jewish community in France and the country. This is not something very trivial in France to see this strong connection, the community, the French community there in France. We have doubts if people are really thinking about the significance of the group, of the connection to the people in Israel. What Davidi did, he just contented with the logistic support of the volunteers. He wanted, I was present I was at the beginning of the project, he wanted, we will pass through the contents that to explain to the people that come to help the army. Why are they coming? It's not enough to come and help the army. It's okay, but it's not sufficient. He wanted them by this endeavor, they will understand what is the connection between people of Israel and the land of Israel. This is all the time very important for him. All the lecture that he gave, it wasn't, the support is okay. He said the technological support, the technical support that we bring to the army is okay, but he wanted us, the people, will understand that. But this concept that caused that people felt that I receive more than what they receive. If you will ask any volunteer, you will find that each one of them, he said that I didn't give enough, and the army gave me more than I gave. Why do they have this called understand? Because why they hear, they understand the importance of this present here. Therefore, if you ask me what is the importance of Sorel, I think that it is the connection is the only project we have some definition that you can be a tourist in Israel and support the tourism in Israel, but you can do also aliyah to immigration and to support the country. But there's something in the middle that is the Sorel project, which is the volunteers.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We also have here with us the Sorel representatives, Ed Rosenberg from Canada, Alex Pivovsky from Germany, Janusz Deutsch from Hungary, Hantik Jan from the Netherlands, and Leonid Salman. He's the representative of Russian speakers and representative of Olim Sarel here in Israel. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight. במעבר אחד, מצטרפים אליי כאן,
joining here on the panel. The family members of Davidi, I understand not all of them, Neta, and speak to the microphone, Boaz and Kobe, Neta is the daughter of Davidi, and tell us that she had to go back to the army, so tell us about her. First of all, Neta is the daughter of my cousin, and he's the first grandchild. And she was forced to go back to the army. She had to do what she has to do. She has to serve the army. I wanted to talk with her. I heard that the army is calling her. Let's see one part. Davidi talks about his family.
בנגב היא הייתה תחילה קשרית של מפקד הפלוגה ביד מרדכי. פינו את הנשים והילדים לפני זה, אז היא לא הייתה בהתקפה הגדולה. התחתנו בפברואר 49. השקיע אותה מוקש, גם 48, כן.
בנגב?
בנגב נסיעה בין גברעם ליד מרדכי. אני חושב שעדיין יש לה כמה סיסים.
ספרו לי איך זה לגדול בבית כזה.
How is it to grow up in such a home?
זה בית עם מורשת.
It is a home with a legacy. When two girls and we can hear sorry there.
היסטוריה, ספרנות, יש לו 4 נכדים פה. השנייה זה יערות יאיר, היא גם כן שמרה על השם דוידי, השם שלה פרס דוידי. יש לה 5 ילדים, ויש לה נכדה אחת. והבן יש לו 3 ילדים, ועובד באלביט. לפחות שהנכדים שדיברו את זה.
אז הם פה לראות את זה.
כן, אנחנו כבר גדלנו מאז, יש יותר נכדים.
There are more grandchildren now. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who arrived. It is a big honor for us on this evening of tribute, people of Sarel, army people and friends. I wanted to, with your permission, to tell you a few events. All this evening is storytelling from the point of view of the family, stories that we have heard. For example, this story that my father met my mother in the Negev. One of the stories that my mother was not a big hero, and when they were in the Negev during the Independence War, he didn't let her during the bombardments or shells to be in the trenches. He wanted her to be a hero like him. One of the events that he talked about, the anecdote, I remember as a kid, I would go on. He would train me to jump backwards, so he will catch me. That's another part of the training that I went as a kid. And more other small stories, anecdote, many one of them is very famous in our family. The famous humble person. He said that he's the famous humble man. In one of the, when I was young, I was in the Air Force and we traveled for training to the US, and he was there also in one of the two make fundraising for some, he would go outside, he always volunteered, he never took a penny from anybody or any money as a salary. He would sleep at places of volunteers, somewhere at home. Now, of course, not to waste money on a hotel or something like that, God forbid. In one of his journeys, we had few days of vacation, and we traveled, few friends, to Las Vegas. And by chance, he was there to make a fundraising. The governor was his friend, and we arrived there, and we got to the hotel. We waited for us. We're waiting about in the reception. General Davidi and stuff. Everyone got a special suite. I was 3 years old. I got a suite, a large suite in a hotel in Las Vegas. We didn't know what to do with it. And he, in one of his journeys, the famous humble, he got in the hotel. And he saw jetons on these cushion. He was very frightened. He calls the reception. I cannot accept this present. He says to the receptionist, these jetons to play the casino. So the person in the level, Mr. David, it's okay. That you can eat the chocolate. You can eat the chocolate. It's enough. So this is the famous humble man that took jetons as chocolate as jeton. Do you have a more anecdote? It seems that you have a very heavy load on your shoulder. So my experience is the grandfather Aaron, he was not from Idavidi. Did you know that his code name is Aaron? But for me, he was the grandpa Aaron. Until I got to the army, there were no talks around the table, the Friday table, about the army. There were talks about the Golan Heights, a lot about. So we heard a lot of stories. I was born in 1982, by the way, and I think I was born. My mother was still the Golan Heights. There was the idea of creating Sarel Association. And what is the Aaron as a grandfather? His private lessons in mathematics. If you don't, even if you don't like a lot of chess players, mathematics goes with chess. I am more in the humanistics. I didn't like the chess. I liked the chess, but I didn't like the mathematics. So, for my family, who sits here knows it very well. So, what is the grandfather? He has a small office in his with different drawers, and the pins of Sarel in different color. And we would compete. We the brothers who take the most valuable. You look at his library, people of spirit. You think you're part of the legacy. Saba Aaron is one, and David is somebody else. Well, I followed the legendary. I was in the paratroopers. Once I was in the army. I was also in the reconing. I was about 20 years in the reserve in the division 226. I got freed from the reserve 3 months ago. Somebody was talking here about the guy. I think you saw the picture of the. I entered also the office of the Shomer Ranch, and I see the picture of my grandfather was the first on the line. It really connected me. I was really emotional about that. After that, I followed him also to the University of Tel Aviv. I studied geography and history, and today I'm a teacher. At present, they say I look like him. Yeah, there is something. The most important for me is that I'm a teacher at present and match because of him. Because I am in education because of him. Because the grandfather was in coming. Thank you that you joined us here tonight. It was supposed to be a larger forum, but you know. But the deal comes today. I want to the Nahal group to sing the song. I don't have another country.
אחרת גם אם אדמתי בוערת רק מילה בעברית חודרת אלוקיי אל נשמתי בגוף כואב בלב רעב כאן הוא ביתי
לא אשתוק כי ארצי שינתה את פניה לא אוותר להזכיר לה והשיר כאן באוזניה עד שתפקח את עיניה
ארצי שינתה את פניה לא אוותר להזכיר לה והשיר כאן באוזניה עד שתפקח אחרת עד שתחדש ימיה עד שתפקח את עיניה.
ושירת התקווה.
Please the audience stand up for singing the Hatikva, the national anthem.
כל עוד בלבב פנימה
נפש
עד כאן, תודה רבה, תודה רבה לכל מי שטרח.
All those who arrived and they took the effort to come here to be present
שומר
here.
השקט, כמו שאני אומר, סעו בזהירות.
Drive carefully home.